Hi, everyone. Well, it's hard to believe that we're nearing the end of this semester because here we are on chapter 15 already. This chapter covers correctional forms and reports. And I'm going to show you a few videos. One that's kind of depicts the life and times of a CO. So let's move on. All right. First of all, we'll start off with correctional incident reports. The incident report is a written narrative that can be applied to a variety of incidents, such as escape attempts, because yes, they do try to escape and sometimes they're successful. Inmate disciplinary infractions. This is a big one. As you can probably imagine, and for those of you who work already in the jail, you know this. Living in close proximity with each other as inmates do, quite often they get in skirmishes, and discipline is a result. So reporting is a result of that. Hunger strikes. I worked in the jail from 1989 to 1991. I didn't witness a hunger strike, but I suppose they still do occur. And inmate staff injuries. Had my nose broke. A guy swung around for no reason, hit me in the face. I guess he was frustrated, but broke my nose. He got charged criminally, of course, but that's the result of working in the jail as a 19-year-old young boy, I'll say. Learned my lesson. Actually, I didn't do anything wrong, but still learned my lesson that these things can happen. So let's watch this video. Okay. Oops. Sorry, but sometimes it takes a second.
Time is 5:30. It's time to go to work now.
Scissors found in podium drawer, confiscated and removed. Perimeter, barbed wire, holder located near the entrance to the sheriff's department parking lot. Second from the corner bent, unable to straighten by hand. Person came in for murder. His house is located on Max Watch. Had some cash and lose. 2 Charlie 7 lost 1 hour wreck, excessive tissue.
Right now it's 5:57. I'm about to go into a Bravo pod right here, take over post from the officer, and we'll go throughout the day, and I'll explain more and more what I'm doing every time we do something. Right now, what we're doing is I'm relieving Officer Benson right here. He's going to pass on the events of everything that took place last night.
We got all your equipment's here. We got upper coming out today, upper and then lower. Head count of 89. Today is Wednesday, so you do have uniforms. Your runarounds are Thompson out of 2 and Gettings out of 6. And, 1 confinee, which comes off tonight, and everything else is normal.
Mr. Anthony. Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Smith. Smith. Mr. Williams. Mr. Van. Thompson. Hey, good morning, Bravo Pod. Again, I'm MCO Ward. We're going to go over what's expected for the day. First of all, whenever we come out for rec, all of our stuff will be in our gray containers before we come out. Beds will be made up. Next off, most of y'all been in here for a little while. We got a copy of the inmate rules right there on the wall. I don't think I have to go over all of them, but I will go over the most important ones. Tidiness is the key today. Whenever it's quiet time, we will remain quiet and on our own bunks. That means no games, no talking, none of that. You will be on your bunks. You can read a book, but that's about it. Other than that, we're going to have a pretty good day in here. We're about to kick off morning cleanup, so Any questions and concerns about this will be addressed during your rec time. If you need any request forms, pencil sharpened, we do it during our rec time. Other than that, the only time you should come up to my podium is unless it's an emergency. Everybody tracking on that? Okay, hey, at this point in time, we're finishing up our morning cleanup. If you notice, the gates are going to be unsecured during this whole process. The only times these gates stay unsecured is if it's cleanup, count time, and meal time. Other than that, the gates are going to stay secured. And this is a facility we manage by walking around. You got your uniform already? Like I said, just always keep on the common areas, only because that's where they like to hide stuff a lot of times. And right now, we just finished up our morning cleanup. We gathered our laundry and everything. Next thing is, I'm gonna go around, do another security check, make sure I still got 89 people in house, gonna secure my gates, and then you'll see me throughout the day. I'm gonna continue doing my security checks, because that's what we do here.
Number 2, it is now 9 o'clock. You have the first rec of the morning. Same things apply as my briefing this morning. And no time will cross my yellow line right there. If you need me, I'll acknowledge you and then I'll come to you. 2, before we come out, all property must be in your gray bins. It must be in your gray bins before you come out. Beds must be made up neatly. Again, we'll go over it. There'll be no fighting, no horseplay, no rough play, none of that.
Rules are right over there on the wall. And if you can't read the rules, just get me and I will be more than happy to go over the rules with you.
Right now we're doing med pass for Bravo unit.
Right here. What's going to happen is I'm going to call 3 cubes at a time. They're going to come up here, get their meds. And we're going to verify it. Me and the nurse, we're going to verify it with their booking sheets and with the rosters. Make sure the right person's getting the right meds. We're also going to make sure that they take their meds. Ensure by checking mouths, tongues, make them lift up, make sure they lift up their tongue so we can verify that they did take their meds and they're trying not to hoard it. Right now we got the food cart in post. You're about to see this is how we feed through the day. Our runarounds are our guys that's going to be feeding. What they're going to do is when the person comes by, they're going to grab one tray. I'm going to be standing right beside of it right there, observing, making sure everything's on the tray so nobody tries to get doubles or whatnot.
Those are the same stackable trays that I used in 1989 and 91. It's weird that some things don't change.
For today, if you notice, it's got the bread and everything, the meat under there, the cheese, the cookies, the chips, the condiments and everything like that. And like I said, everything does meet the standards with the nutrition and everything. Okay, at this time, since I just got done feeding the inmates and what.
It's funny because when I was a poor cop starting off, as you know, we don't make a whole lot of money. And working in the jail, that's what I ate. I ate leftover trays. That was my dinner.
Now, usually whenever you work a post, you have to eat on the run. So usually what I like to do is bring fruit, vegetables, and you see energy drink and apple slices is going to be my lunch today. At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go conduct a shakedown. That means we're going to be looking for any contraband that the inmate has. Contraband is anything that's prohibited for the inmate to have, i.e. any kind of weapon, any excess of extra sheets, blankets, or anything that's not permitted by medical. Okay, at 4 o'clock, that's the last lockdown in the pod today. What we're waiting on now is for our dinner food cart. And once that comes, we're going to serve dinner to them. Then the runaround is going to start a night cleanup. We'll clean up before the other shift takes over and make it look good for them. Okay, right now we're about to feed dinner. Same thing as we did with lunch. We'll get these guys up, lined up, and get them ready so we can finish up the day strong. Relieving officer, Officer Tooley right here. I'm going to brief him on the events that happened today. We'll pass on all the events that happened today. Today so far, all I had was one loss of rec due to having an extra sheet, Mr. Lee in number 4 right there. Other than that, it was a pretty sweet day. Okay. As you can see, it was a pretty good day in the pod. There were no major incidents. So that's always a good day. Every day that we get to go home unharmed, great day. And the good thing about it is I get to get up and at 5:30, I'll be here to do it again tomorrow.
Life and times of the CO. Okay. Moving on. So, a correctional incident report. The incident report is a written narrative that can be applied to a variety of incidents. Folks, it's the same principle. Just because you're in a jail setting doesn't mean that the principles of report writing are not the same. They are. Of course, you're going to look, and hopefully not, but inevitably you will, working in a jail, discover contraband, any type of visitor infractions, any kind of intel that you get. You'll have people in inmates that will tell on each other, believe it or not. There's no honor amongst these. Building and maintenance concerns, damage that you find. The incident report, most common form that be used in any setting, such as, well, it serves a variety of purposes. What about use of less than lethal devices to control inmates? Well, that's a taser. That's plausibly pepper spray, maybe out in the yard, definitely not inside. I won't say definitely, but usually not inside. Armbar takedowns, restraint measures, and such. Discharge of a firearm or other weapon, again, outside. Use of force to control inmates, as I mentioned. And yes, once in a while, we do get hurt, as I mentioned, broken nose. Well, instead of the elements of the crime, the incident report would document the rule infractions, which there are many, as you saw in the video. The same techniques and procedures for the narrative of the law enforcement case report apply to the correctional incident report as well. Documenting an incident in a correctional facility is very important, as this report can be used later to charge an inmate for a criminal offense. Yes, you will do probable cause affidavits inside the jail or prison setting. You have, again, narcotic possession, contraband possession, battery, aggravated battery, assault, rape, which does occur. Therefore, the incident report must be accurate, free of any grammar, spelling, or word use errors. Again, the same. For anyone working in a correctional facility, the inmate disciplinary form will be probably the second most common form used on a regular basis. Inmate disciplinary process is an administrative process, not judicial. Unless it turns criminal, any discipline matters that transpire. For me, as example, if I were to document something that were in-house disciplinary in nature, I would write it up on a report. I would submit it to my supervisor. It'd be taken eventually to the captain or lieutenant. In my case, the lieutenant reviewed them, and there'd be a review meeting. In other words, the inmate would be brought down, sat with me, and the issue would be addressed. Sometimes, depending upon the severity of the incident, they could be put in solitary or lose visitation, lose commissary rights, which is the right to buy things that are not normally given to them, such as snacks and other things of that nature. So it depends. The purpose of the administrative process is to secure the good order of the prison. In all correctional incidents resulting in a request for disciplinary action, documentation must include, but not limited to, the following. Well, where? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? A formal statement of the charge. In other words, what happened? Any unusual inmate behavior? Who saw it? Well, that could also go, what other inmates noticed it? Who was the complainant? An explanation of the events that includes people involved and the events that transpired, time and location, any physical evidence and its disposition. It could be anything. If it's narcotics, the narcotics or the makeshift knife or the wiring, whatever it may be, the homemade alcohol. In my jail, they called it buck. Don't know why, but that was the slang for it. They used to make alcohol. In essence, they used old bread and fruit, juices and fruit and sugar packets from their coffee and put it in a bucket, hide it underneath their bunk the best they could, and it would ferment and smell so bad, but alcohol. Any immediate actions taken. And of course, sign it. Date, time, report. So, pre-sentence investigation report, PSIR. When an offender is found guilty or pleads guilty to an offense, the court of jurisdiction will usually have a PSIR completed by an officer of the court or a parole officer. So now we're going onward to discipline. So the PSIR is the history of the offender that may be used by the judge, say it is criminal, in determining whether or not the factors influenced the offender during the commission of the crime. And what's on the PSR? Well, it usually has the following information, and it's a long list. Age, social information, demographics, where they found, personal information, the county of conviction, evaluation of recommendation. Well, that comes from you, or it could be a long line of incidents. Description of the current event, what took place. Their criminal history, their background. Summaries of all previous community placements and terminations. Victim impact statements. What did the victims have to say about what this offender who you were reviewing, what they did? How did it affect their lives? Initial needs, what do they need? What special needs were they granted? What do they still need? Level of supervision inventory, were they in lockdown? Were they in community release? And any other documents that may be needed in determining the decision. Here's an example, it's in your book. This one is Morris County Court, 9th District, PSIR. So you can see the details of the case are pretty, well, just that, detailed. The defendant statements, and they're allowed to offer a statement, what they did, what transpired. I've seen some where they put NA or I did it. Disposition of co-defendants. Maybe there are co-defendants, maybe there aren't. And again, you can take the time, you can pause this, and you can read this for yourself. All right, so some tips, correctional forms. In most instances, correctional paperwork and forms will resemble law enforcement paperwork. It's just that the template, quite often I've noticed, is different. every agency is going to have a different template and format, but in the jail, they'll have different boxes because you don't deal with the same thing inside the prison or jail setting as you do out in the street. Although there are some correlations, some similarities. The same basic principles and writing style presented for law enforcement report writing in this textbook apply to correctional paperwork. Absolutely. Every correctional probation or parole agency will have some minor discrepancies. I left that out. All right. I know I haven't given you many final thoughts. If you were to have me in live class, I do these weekly, but I felt this important. As you're coming back from spring break, I hope that you didn't just sit in front of the computer or your games or whatever you did. I hope you got out. Hope you did something fun. So I'm going to play this for you.
Did you know the average person spends 4 years of his life looking down at his cell phone? Kinda ironic, ain't it? How these touch screens can make us lose touch. But it's no wonder in a world filled with iMacs, iPads, and iPhones, so many eyes, so many selfies, not enough us's and we's. See, technology has made us more selfish and separate than ever. Cause while it claims to connect us, connection has gotten no better. And let me express first, Mr. Zuckerberg, not to be rude, but you should reclassify
Facebook to what it is, an anti-social network. Because while we may have been friendless, so many of us are friendless all alone. Friendships are more broken than the screens on our very phones. We sit at home on our computers, measuring self-worth by numbers of followers and likes. Ignoring those who actually love us, it seems we'd rather write an angry post and talk to someone who might actually hug us. Am I bugging? You tell me. I asked a friend the other day, let's meet up face to face. They said, all right, what time you want to Skype? I responded with OMG, SRS, and then a bunch of SMHs and realized, what about me? Do I not have the patience to have conversation without abbreviation? This is the generation of media overstimulation. Chats have been reduced to snaps. The news is 140 characters. Videos are 6 seconds at high speed. And you wonder why ADD is on the rise faster than 4G LTE. But get a load of this. Studies show the attention span of the average adult today is 1 second lower than that of a goldfish. So if you're one of the few people on aquatic animals that have yet to click off or close this video, congratulations. Let me finish by saying you do have a choice, yes. But this one, my friends, we cannot autocorrect. We must do it ourselves. Take control or be controlled, make a decision. Me? No longer do I want to spoil a precious moment by recording it with a phone. I'm just gonna keep them. I don't want to take a picture of all my meals anymore. I'm just gonna eat them. I don't want the new app, the new software, or the new update. And if I want to post an old photo, who says I have to wait until Thursday? I'm so tired of performing in the pageantry of vanity and conforming to this accepted form of digital insanity. Call me crazy, but I imagine a world where we smile when we have low batteries. Cause that'll mean we'll be one bar closer to humanity.
Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. For those of you who, well, everybody watching this lecture, because you're going to do your follow-up and your discussions because it's an important part of your grade, yes, that is participation. I'll be checking on how many discussions that you posted throughout the semester. And if you didn't attend the discussion, you were absent. So I'm hoping you're one of those who were diligent. Nevertheless, keep an eye open for an email that I will have coming. On April 30th, you will be taking your proctored final exam. All 3 campuses. Again, don't sweat it. You'll be seeing an email from me April 30th from noon to 8. It will be wide open as far as the time. You can come at any time, but you need to bring your ID with you. You'll sit in front of a computer. You'll be given a password. You'll be logging into Blackboard. In the Lessons tab, you'll scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and you'll see Final Exam. You'll be able to go in, put in the password. You'll have 90 minutes to take multiple choice exam. There are 46 questions and a 10-point question at the end. You write a really short narrative, and I'll be grading that. Don't sweat it. Just read the questions. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Take care.